What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this plant here as an example of what to do when you're pruning out. You'll look at the base, start at your base, you come up and you look and you see you've got a hangover here or a crossover. You've got crossovers back here, you've got a major crossover there. These branches are literally hanging into the other plant. And then you've got intermixing from this plant into this plant, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how I cut it. We're going to start, this branch, as you can see, is coming out into this plant from this bush. I'll just cut it here and remove it. Actually, it's a different one. Now, deciding where to cut at is important also. You'll notice you've got a branch coming up and going across, another branch coming out and going across, and then you've got one branch that's going vertical. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut here, take that one off, and then I'm going to cut here. And what will happen next year is you'll get new growth here growing up. There's another branch, it's a bad crossover. I'll reach in and I'll cut it right in here. I'll try to anyway. And I'll reach in and take it out. You're going to notice as you're doing this, you'll start getting a better feel for the plant itself. All right, here, this one's growing up vertical. This one's growing outward. It's kind of in between the two plants. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go here and cut it off and take care of that problem. And that's part of the problem. As you can see, they get intermixed with each other. Now this tree, this branch, I kind of want to call it a grow back. What it did is it grew out, something happened to it, and it grew back into itself. And it's actually a crossover from another plant. So we'll just come in, take that one off. I'm going to have to cut it twice to get it out. It's so large. And you'll notice as I do this, you're going to start seeing your individual plants now. As berries get on this plant, what's going to happen again, as I told you, it's going to lay out in the middle of your row. So come back and you look, you've got a vertical right here. So we're going to remove that so that we'll have vertical growth next year. This one's growing over into the other plant. In fact, we'll cut it here. And what will happen is next year, here's a vine. Next year this one will go back up. Now here, this plant is growing into that plant, but I've got a vertical. Cut it, cut it. Again, you're noticing as I do this, plant's opening up to daylight. You're going to be able to get rid of the moisture. You actually have an opening between your plant now. We can train a plant putting branches inside. Here's another hangover. We'll cut it off. Of course, if you look above you, now this plant, I know I've moved from this plant, but all bushes affect each other. Look at this. I can keep it. What'll happen is it'll grow, get berries, and it'll hang out here in the middle of the path. So what I want to do is give it an opportunity to grow vertical again. Now we've got crossover into that plant. I've got a vertical. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off right here. And that should remove this whole head right here. Let me get that little vine. All right. Now this one actually is a big problem too, so we're going to go ahead and give it an opportunity to grow vertical for next year. If you notice, you've now got an opening between your plants. You'll have sunlight, you'll have air. It'll help out a lot with the moisture. Now on this plant right here, you'll notice I've got a vertical right here. And I've got these that are leaning out. And there's nothing from here to here because there was so much growth in here. Sun couldn't penetrate it and allow the shoots to come off this particular branch. The branch is salvageable. What I'll do is I'll cut it off here and then cut the hangover off here. And what will happen is it'll now grow upward and it'll stop growing outward on that particular plant. You can also just, when you have dead plants, my wife likes doing this. She walks along breaking off little branches. Now this one is a new shoot that came up probably last year. The end of it got a little, I don't know if it's damaged or kind of blacked out. What I'm going to do, I don't want it to continue growing like Jack and the Beanstalk. I want it to bush out, so I'm going to cut it about right here, right above that leaf. And that'll allow the plant, give an opportunity to the plant to push out here. Look over my shoulder, down the row here. You can see all of the hangovers that are hanging out into the row. Now this that's on the ground came off these plants. As you can see, the hangers are gone. This will probably look very drastic to a lot of people, but this is just something we're going to have to do to take control over this particular orchard. So I'm just going to cut for a few minutes and just watch where I cut them at, how I get them off. As you notice, a lot of the leanover is going away. And like I said, it's just something that's got to be done in order for you to clear up the row. These will grow out, and there will be a problem. But as you can see, a lot of the hangover is gone now. At the top right here, we've got plants that are a little bit too tall. And again, it's because they were reaching for the sun. What I'm going to do, and what I have been doing, I'm going to cut the tops of these plants out. This is one here. And I'm going to cut that one there. Now I want you to watch the top of that plant when I do what I'm doing. You see the bird netting. It doesn't make any sense to have bird net if you're going to grow plants through it. Cut this one back, bring it down, and then you can cut that one back, get it out of the netting. And I'll get a ladder, get up there. Now, here's a crossover going into that plant. I'll take it down. There's another crossover right here. There's actually a lean out on the other. Hangover on the other row, so I'm going to take it out. This one's going to have to come out. And that one. And that one. It doesn't look like there's a lot of plant left, I assure you. coming in springtime, I'll come down and take videos of these particular plants, and you will see just exactly how they've grown.